Welcome in to the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick over there. And you might notice we got a special guest this week. We got Brady on the podcast once again because we have a special episode for you. We're talking Rise of the Ronin. We got early codes from PlayStation. Thank you guys so much for sending those over. We were able to play it early, complete the game. We all finished it yesterday. Our thoughts are all coming together. We're going to give you our quick hit review that we're going to post later on TikTok, and then get into the meat and potatoes and really break this game apart like an egg. Just crack that, make it a nice scramble. Maybe an over easy egg.
Yummy.
Over easy egg. That's the way to go, right?
That is the way to go.
Oh, I'm a scrambled guy.
Of course, checks out.
But over easy with toast is better. Yeah, like that's a godsend. But I'm a big breakfast burrito guy. I like
breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs. That makes sense.
Yeah.
On a burger, the egg.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All about it.
Okay, but here's the kicker: runny or not runny on a burger.
I used to like eggs on burgers, and if I do want an egg on a burger, I'm going runny. But I don't like it very much.
I don't like it runny. I'm not about it. I want a little bit of flavor, a little bit of yolk flavor, but honestly, just crack that bad boy and fry that egg.
For me, I want the runny yolk. I want a little avocado on there. I want this thing to just be a juicy, succulent burger.
There's a line. There's a line though. Honestly, food can be the most delicious thing on the planet, but if it's messy in my hands, ruins it. I'm like, I can't even put this down because it's just dripping everywhere.
For your burger thoughts, hop in the comments.
How come every time I'm on the podcast, there's burger talk, dude?
Dude, I love it, man.
I used to like stuff on burgers, like a barbecue bacon burger. All this. Not anymore. I'm just like a classic burger guy now. Like, give me the LTO, give me that burger sauce, and that's it.
No peanut butter on a burger. You heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Aaron in the Discord was talking about it. I was like, no,
that's wild.
I can't do that.
Blowing up Aaron's spot on the YouTube.
I mean, some people really like it. It's not like he's alone in that. So that checks out to me. All right, we're gonna get into those quick hit thoughts, and Nick, if you want to tee me up.
Yeah. So this is we're short thoughts first, and then we're going to blow the conversation wide open for the podcast audience.
Spoiler free.
Yes, we will not be spoiling anything. If you want to know literally nothing about this game, don't watch this, but we're going to be talking mechanics and overall world and stuff like that. That is just what reviews are. But a little forewarning there. Right. Ready, gentlemen?
Yep.
Connor has beaten Rise of the Ronin. Brady's beaten Rise of the Ronin. I have beaten Rise of the Ronin. And shout out to PlayStation for review codes. But Connor, what is your review and score on the Co-op 64 scale?
Yeah, Rise of the Ronin is a little bit of a mixed bag. There's a lot to love here, a lot that people are really going to dig into and enjoy. And if you like Team Ninja's earlier outings, you're probably going to enjoy this on the more open world scale that it provides. But there's a lot that kind of holds it back from being an excellent experience. So I'm going to tackle this by we're going to go into the good, and then we're going to go into the bad a little bit. The good, the combat. Team Ninja has always been known for really tight, flashy combat, and it's no different here. You got your parries, which just feel amazing in this game. When you're in sync, just bing, bang, boom, just parrying guys and learning their patterns, this game is really singing on all and firing on all cylinders when you're hitting those parries and kind of in that dance with your enemy. And there's tons of weapons and tons of variety within those weapons, and then within your different stances when you're fighting different enemies. You have to switch stances on the fly. You can switch weapons on the fly and kind of find your own play style, and I think that's really, really cool. Along with that, this game has some really badass sidearms in there. You got your weapons of choice with your pistol and your rifle. You also have your bow that all feel very satisfying. Hitting a headshot feels amazing, maybe a little bit overpowered, but still feels really good to use. It's properly janky and kind of difficult to like really line up a headshot, but when you're hitting them, it feels really good and really satisfying. There's a lot of interesting characters in this game, and they're constantly throwing them at you. And while I fell in love with some of them, I found a lot of them really enjoying. There's a lot. So it's kind of a good and bad when it comes to the characters, where I fell in love with a few of them, but because there's so many of them, some of them just fall completely by the wayside. And then finally, last two good points here. The visuals, I've seen a lot of discourse online about the visuals. I think this game is pretty gorgeous. I think there's a lot of the character animations are pretty solid. The world, the overarching art design of the Japan location is gorgeous and amazing. And finally, maybe the most important aspect of this open world, the cats.
Oh, yeah.
You got to collect those cats, baby. Maybe the greatest collectible in any video game ever. Sneaking up, finding these little furry felines. Amazing. But that leads me into the bad with the open world. You're collecting cats. You're collecting, going to shrines and knocking those out. This is a very paint by the numbers open world sandbox. If you've played a Ubisoft game in the past, you know exactly what you're kind of getting into. But within those missions, with you're clearing out bases, you're going to shrines, you're collecting cats. The combat really is what you're there for at the end of the day. And if you're really into that, clearing out these bases is going to be a lot of fun. But it is very paint by the numbers. Like I said, too many characters. The story isn't always super engaging, and I wasn't really pulled in by the story. It was more about being pulled in by the characters and the combat for the most part. So I just kind of let that fall by the wayside in a lot of ways. And lastly, the open world is one aspect, but when you go to do the main missions, there are these tight, regular set piece missions where there's like a start menu and everything, and you get 2 AI allies to come along with you. And every single one of them, for the most part, is go play through this area. You have 3 optional harder enemies to take on, and then you're fighting a big bad at the end. And that's kind of what all of them are. Yeah. And while the combat can really kind of keep you engrossed and keep you pushing forward through all of that, I think that the repetition in it all gets a little bit tiring by the end of it. It really dragged down my overall score. I would give Rise of the Ronin a 7.5 out of 10. I think it is a very good game. I think people are really going to fall in love with it. If you're into Team Ninja games, I think there's a lot to love here. It's an easy recommend for me for the right group of people. If you heard my words and you're interested in that combat, pick this one up. I think it's a lot of fun. Don't let that 7.5 score scare you away. I think it's worth your time for the most part.
Yeah, Brady, what are you going to give it on the Co-op 64 scale, and what's your review?
So on the Co-op 64 scale, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, and let me tell you why. I'm not going to try to belabor some points that Connor said, because I agree with most of what he said. This game does a really good job of taking little aspects from games you love, like with the open world and the RPG, and like you said, the combat. The combat is really fun, though a lot of the boss fights can kind of be repetitive and redundant. The fighting is just really awesome in general. I think what gives this game an 8 out of 10 and brings it up a little bit for me, and that's where I kind of disagree with Connor, is the open world aspect. It's really fun. It has a bunch of little things, so you can just like run around, like you said, catch cats, gamble. I mean, you give me gambling in a game, I freaking love to gamble, so why not? But it not only does it have the little things, it has the awesome side missions where you can play with the characters that are in the main mission, and it kind of still pertains to the main mission, which is still really cool. So you feel like you're still playing the campaign even after you beat it. And you also can go back and do the co-op mode, which I know you touched on a little bit maybe, but the game's really cool because you can replay missions with your friends, and you can replay campaign mode with your friends, which is really awesome. But that's where I kind of get to the downside of, like you said, of the game is the campaign. The campaign, before I knock on it, it's not bad by any means. Yeah. It's a good campaign. It's really fun. It's just lackluster. Like, you don't really know what's going on. A lot of times it's kind of all over the place.
There's a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts, and like what you said, like what you touched on, is there's a lot of characters, and a lot of these characters are good. They're good.
Yeah.
But there are hardly any great characters that I fell in love with. So that kind of hurts it a lot for me. Other than that, like, one thing they do well with the fact that there's so much going on, I think they know there's so much going on because there's a great character, or there's, with all the characters and just the lackluster missions, all the stuff going on, they do have other cool features like character lists. Like if you go into the pause menu, there is the encyclopedia.
Right, it's very similar to Final Fantasy 16, where you can pause any cutscene, and the characters involved in the cutscene, you can get some sort of backstory on them, which is very helpful because I was like, who is this guy? What does he have to do?
Yeah. So they almost know. So they do a really good job with like having those aspects that are really cool. And like they break down missions, and they break down clans and people and just anything you need to know. And another really cool aspect that I really liked about this game is during conversations, like you can pause and you can have a conversation history. And like, if you needed to think about what's going on or reread stuff, that's like really cool and really helpful. But yeah, I think this game has longevity and replayability with your friends. And I think that's kind of why I bumped it up to an 8.
Yeah.
It wasn't the campaign. It was more the longevity and just the open world fun and the replayability for me.
Cool. On the Co-op 64 scale, I'm also going to give it an 8. I really enjoyed my time with this game. I think that this game has legs, like you said, beyond just the initial story that you play through. The story goes and gives you certain decisions. They all lead you and really funnel you into a main story of what you're doing. The characters, like you, just to reiterate, are not that interesting. And you guys know I am such a character story, like that is something that really grips me in gaming. But the reason I'm giving it an 8, which I believe is a great score, the reason I think that this game is great is the combat is so damn fun that I can play it literally for hours on end and not get bored. And I think that shows when you're clearing out bases. Every single base that showed up and popped up on my map, I was like, I want to do that right now because it is so much fun to go and clear out those enemies. Like you said, the rifle's a little bit overpowered. Who gives a dang? It's so much fun to line up that headshot, take them out, and you're like, cool, just cleared out that one enemy, 6 more to go. And then you're going and dealing with these areas and trying to clear out these enemies in a stealthy way. Stealth in this game, not great, not really an option, but who gives a dang when the combat itself is so much fun to get in those encounters. The parry is crisp. When you go and you land perfect parries over and over again, you get that finisher move where the circle shows up red, you press triangle, and whether it is you take them out with a rifle or you go and slash through their body or you pull out your sidearm, kick them down, pop them in the head, every single time, extremely, extremely satisfying combat. The reason I'm harping on the combat so much is because that is the thing that really drives this game forward, where every single side mission, every single story mission, I'm just like, what I'm doing, the gameplay is so dang good. But yeah, there are the negatives. There are the things that make this game not a go out and buy it right away or things like that. There are moments where it's just like, all right, this is a little bit lackluster. The open world is very paint by the numbers. But once again, I really liked the traversal, whether I was on my horse or glider. Love the traversal of the open world. Loved going out to those shrines. Enjoyed every single thing that I really was doing while playing this game. There wasn't anything that felt too tedious. The fast travel systems in this game are great, getting you to point A to point B when you need to. But the reason that this game really ties together for me as a great video game are the cats. I'm dead serious. Every single time, the laughter I would get from picking up a cat, petting it, whether it was one, it was always exciting to figure out whether it was a cat I could just pick up and pet, or if I had to like sneak up and then like sneak attack and then pet them. It was like great every single time.
And you get rewards for it too.
Yeah, you get rewards, and also it sort of takes away from the brutality that is just happening consistently, where you do have these fun, alleviating moments. Some of the characters also do drive that, where it is like, there's a lot of hope in this game. There's a lot of pushing forward to be better. Like that, those themes always hit strong for me, and that was presented really well. But whether it was the plethora of characters or a pretty consistent run of, hey, this guy's important, we need to take him out, I wasn't always super interested in that. So that's where I'm at. 8 out of 10. Shout out to PlayStation for the codes again. A lot of fun. Really a great weekend of gaming. I would highly recommend this game. I could see it sneaking on my top 10 list. That was something that I texted both of you guys at the end of this year. Will it be there? I could absolutely see it just because the combat is so dang good.
Sweet. So that's our overarching thoughts there for you. We're going to hop into just kind of breaking it down real fast, topic by topic. And I want to start with the combat. Dude. Because like we were saying, it's got really excellent, flashy, very visceral and satisfying combat that has a nice learning curve. I sucked at this game at first. Like many difficult video games, it is important to note that this is kind of like a Souls-like. If you die, you lose your points. I forget what the currency was.
It's something that deals with like, based on where you are on the map, that like you get points for clearing out things like that, and you need to go and quote unquote touch home base, whatever that is.
Your XP gets turned in by going back to the fast travel locations.
Yes. Yeah, dude.
Every single time.
Every single time that like this is like when we said very small, minute spoilers of what this game actually involves. When you go up to a base, this guy to light a fire uses flint and steel twice to go and start the fire, and then it bursts a flame, and then a eagle caws out, and you're just like, oh, this is awesome every single time.
You guys both played as a guy. I played as a girl.
Oh yes,
which. There's a character created in this game that's pretty in depth. Brady made his guy look like himself. I was like, Brady, you would not be in Japan and be a samurai.
In another world, dude. I could be. I'm a samurai. Yeah, I was role playing. I do like the banners too, because that's how you like refill your stuff from your storage.
Yeah, and they're constant too. Like it's very forgiving, and like the save points, the banners right before boss fights. Like if you die in a boss fight, you're
going straight
right
back
in front of it, and there's a black
merchant,
a merchant, a black market individual who is there to sell you stuff if you need it right before a boss fight. So this is Team Ninja. They made Neo, which is a Souls-like that's pretty difficult. This is not that, in my opinion. It still has the tendencies of a Souls-like, but there is a difficulty slider. There's 3 difficulty options from the jump. So if you want to kind of breeze through this game, I did try it on Dawn mode, and it's still challenging. It's still not. It's not like cake.
The way that I will say this, when you bump down the difficulty, the moveset of the enemy doesn't change too much.
No.
It is just the amount of damage that you deliver that is amplified a little bit, and that is really satisfying because it basically says you just need to do this for less amount of time. But you still need to do it. You still need to overcome this boss. And I appreciate that a lot more than removing certain kill moves or stuff like that as you're playing.
Right.
Well, for me, I bumped down the difficulty for 3 bosses, all at sporadic moments in the timeline of playing this game, where the next boss I would bump it back up immediately after the fact and be able to take that person on A-OK. But there was moments where I was just like, dang, this game is giving me the runaround on the normal difficulty, and I really do appreciate that this game respects the player, but also makes sure that you have fun with the combat, and whether it is bumping down. And when you bump it down, the challenge is still there.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, that it does have those moments of sheer euphoria of finally overcoming a boss and being like, oh, I fucking did it. Because I was getting my teeth kicked in by certain bosses, and then you learn those patterns, and you really kind of you get into that dance is what I like to call it. Sekiro has a very similar thing with it's a rhythm game at the end of the day. Like this has a lot of those core tendencies of Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima. This game is going to be compared across the board to those 2 contemporaries for sure. But I still think its parry system is really quite excellent and feels great. And the different timings of enemy swings, and like you would think that you would kind of really get the hang of it and really be able to like kind of see what's coming, but they change it up on you left and right constantly with the different patterns and everything, and different enemy abilities that I was like, oh, okay, and now we're doing this and we're changing this up, and it does drag you along through everything. So back to the combat.
I was about to say, Brady, what was your kit for most of this? I was going to
go with the weapons.
Yeah, what were you kitted out with?
I mean, I went with the classic katana most of the time.
Yeah.
Just like a fun little sword, and then like I did use the guns a lot, and you said like the like sneaking around wasn't much of an option. I found the way to freaking do it. I did a lot. Like if you could sneak behind people and kill them, like I loved it.
I would get like 1 or 2 before I would get caught every single time.
My favorite was towards the there's a grapple in this game. It's in the trailers and everything. Amazing. You might see it in the B-roll we use for the review and stuff like that. When you are able to eventually grapple enemies upwards and stealth kill them, I was playing fucking Spider-Man all of a sudden. I was on top of a roof going, whoop, stab, whoop, stab. About to take out the shelf. I'm so excited. But yeah, it's a really great mechanic when it allows for it. But I would say, like Connor said, 1 or 2 enemies, then everyone else gets alerted, and it's like, all right, game on. I got 6 or 7 people I need to clear out. 1 big like optional boss in this area. Let's rock and roll, and that was a lot of fun.
I was using a katana, a spear, and a foxtail. By the end, I think is what it was called. Where it has it's like a katana with like a string on it. So you're like throwing it.
I didn't use that enough, but when I did pick it up, you're like, oh, dude, this is fun. Or one of my allies had it too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that so you can play as your allies.
I was about to say, this is something that we didn't touch on too well in the short form. Playing as allies allowed you to try out different kits way more often, and it made it like there is one character that I realized way too late. I was like, this dude is useless because they just throw sake bombs, and I'm like, what is this for? And then you light them on fire is what I realized. I realized that like 10 hours into the game. And I was like, you moron. But it's so much fun to utilize these other weapons and these other kits, be able to mid-battle switch between your allies. And like, for me, it was always the dance of, all right, we need to use as many sub weaponry to go and get that health bar down initially, and then it is an all-out assault with the swords.
The sub weaponry, like I also use the pistol a ton. Like a ton.
Yeah,
like same. You just like if you're getting beat up on, you switch to your like one of your buddies on the other side, and then you just start whipping that pistol. To bring that health down. Another thing is like the parrying. Like you said, just the regular parrying's fun, and then the different styles the enemy comes at you. There was that one style where they kind of come low, and you can like jump over it rather than parry it.
Never did
that. Was fun, dude.
Both of us just had that moment of we did not experience that, and so that's
like when they come at you low, like from far and like shoot at you, you can jump over it. And dodge.
Were you bouncing off of people's heads? Were you jumping on people and going from above?
Yeah, like jumping over them and like
no, you could jump on them, like jump on top of them.
What?
No, I don't know.
You could kick. You could
what
kick
game
off.
Are you guys playing?
We all played this a different way.
Yeah,
you could kick off at people and then come down and do like an aerial attack.
Once again, this is why I think this game is as great as it is. You can sink 80, 90 hours doing everything in this game.
Some people are going to really dig in.
For the different combat styles, I stuck with what worked because I understand I'm not great at video games and I want to beat this in a timely fashion. So I was like, this works. I'm going to stick with it. But the fact that you and I all had different experiences with this combat that we all already appreciate so much, I think is super rad. Super rad. I was about to say I rocked a saber for most of it, meaning a little bit of a lighter sword, and then I also rocked a bayonet.
I bought a bayonet too. I use the bayonet a lot, which is cool because it doesn't have like a ammo count.
Yep.
Like you can just be shooting that.
Yeah.
Really?
Dude. Yeah. It doesn't have an ammo count. You gotta pay. You gotta pay for that.
You gotta pay for
you
it.
can pick up
every single black market I went to. I bought every single ammo, every single thing of ammo, every single thing.
That's the move.
All the optional like health kits or whatever. Like I was so flush with cash that I was like just buying.
Which I also think to also just describe my experience, and I think that the boys also had some similar experiences. We get this game, we start doing all of the open world shit immediately. Because right off the rip, PlayStation tells you you're 25% in and you play like 3 hours. You're like, oh, bet. This is going to go by so fast. This is a shorter game. And then all of a sudden, we've all played for 10 hours and we're like at like 32%. And we're like, oh shit, we got to get through the story.
A lot more ahead of us. Also, the funny thing where it tells you the chapter percentage, and like they know this. I thought I was at 77% in the chapter, and I thought that was the entire game. And I was like, guys, I'm having so much doing side stuff because I'm 77% done. And they're like, dude, holy crap, how are you 77% done?
I hit up Brady. I'm like, he's like, I'm 77% done. I'm like, you are not.
That's physically impossible.
I'm like that. There's no world because we got the codes about a week ago, and we're just like, I'm like, it's only been like a couple days, dude. There's just no way. Like, and you were grinding, but like, there's just no way. And surely enough, I'm like, FaceTime me because I need to see your PlayStation. And I was like, hit the home menu, and he clicked the button he just tapped. He didn't hold to get to the home menu, and then a chapter pops up 77%, and I'm like, hold the home menu, and then it pops up. It's like, oh, I'm 40% in this game. And I'm like,
I gotta stop catching cats for 3 hours.
But no, the reason I said that was I think early on we were all well over leveled, and then as we were doing a little bit less side missions to get through the game a little bit faster, we were still doing a bunch of side missions. And I think a huge compliment that I can give to this game was, man, I really got to beat this game, but there's a base real close. I'm just gonna do it real quick. Oh, there's a cat real close. I'm just gonna do it real fast. Like those experiences and that like want to do those things, you don't experience in a lot of open world games. I would say very few give you that want of exploration, and I think that shows the world being really amazing. I think the side missions being, although repetitive, really interesting. And I really want to continuously in this longer form defend the 8 score, because I think that we initially discussed, like, as someone that I personally, not a huge open world fan, not a huge difficult game fan, I'm known for loving a good story, and more than anything, characters is like how you get me into a game. And those two things were not there between story and characters, but every single thing else was such a treat and a delight that I really enjoyed Connor
I just
smirked at that
disagree
one.
that like the open world is anything really that special. I think if you played contemporaries recently, semi-recently, open really any Ubisoft open world game or Ghost of Tsushima or Horizon, like this is gonna feel very similar and not very innovative. And I think if you're burnt out on those games, like a lot of people are, you're not gonna enjoy this game
I do think that being burnt like that is a good point. If you are burnt out on open world games, this does not do anything interesting enough to force you to want to explore the open world.
I cannot imagine somebody who like is really into open world games and has been playing for a long time to come to this game and be reinvigorated by this game.
I don't think I think that the thing that reinvigorates you isn't for you to play this game and then be like, man, I want to play more open world games. It's for you to play this game and then want to go and play Sekiro and want to play Dark Souls and harder, difficult combat experiences, because that's what this game does. It eases you in. I think that if somebody was like, hey, I want to get into harder games, this is a great game to be like, hey, play this first to warm up before you head into Bloodborne.
Right.
And I think that there's not a lot of games that do that well. Sure, you can throw out let's just say Jedi Fallen Order, where it's like that's more Souls-like. It's a harder game, but it's got a great story. This game really doesn't have the story alongside it, but the combat is so damn tight that like you will start to learn some of those mechanics really easily. That's what I think. Once again, the story is not great, character's not great, but the combat is so damn good.
The combat like starts out hard too. Like when I got into this game and I like that first boss fight on the ship, I just like I kept dying and I was like, oh, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
I don't like hard games that much. Like I'm gonna have to play this for a very long time. And then like it does get easier. You start learning the parries and just get better weapons, and it gets more enjoyable.
That is something I want to shout out. Shout out to PlayStation for the codes and everything. But we didn't post a preview or anything of this. I'm very curious to see as reviews roll out. We're posting right when everyone else posts, so we don't really know anyone else's opinion on this. But the preview window was really interesting, where people were like, oh, you're only able to preview the first few hours of the game. First few hours of the game, me and Brady had a conversation where I was like, hey man, I'm like not feeling it. Like this does not feel like I really want to be exploring this world and getting after it. And around hour 3 and 4, where you beat that first boss, you settle into the story a little bit more, the world opens up. That's where the game really kicks into overdrive. And I want to say, if you pick this up in a few days and everything, go and give it a little bit of time to breathe, start to sell into that open world, and that's where the game really kicks off and becomes great in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with certain aspects of what you're saying, but I do think that there is a certain subsect of people that are really going to enjoy those open world aspects and certain aspects of this game. I was pretty. It showed its hand early to me on what this game was, and then I was like, okay. And then even though I knew that I sucked at it and that I was like going to need to learn to get better, I could see the roadmap forward. So my opinion on it, like I was pretty high on it early, and then continued to just kind of stay in that 7.5, 8 area. I was up to an 8.5 at points, and then I was down to a 7.5, and then up to an 8, and then as the game was drawing to a close, I was like, I need to just be honest with myself, and this is a 7.5 game.
I was texting you about it. I was like leaning towards an 8.5, but then like I'd be doing side missions. I'm like, this is awesome. This might be an 8.5, and then you get back to the story, and you're like, oh man, this is predictable.
It's predictable. I do think that this game has a Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible level issue of consistently there being a MacGuffin, but instead of them being a physical object, it's always a person, where it's just like, hey, we got to go after this guy now. Hey, we got to go after this guy now. And every single time it's like, but what's the motivation to the overarching story? And I understand that the story is pretty a interesting story, but you don't care for the characters and you don't understand why these people are so evil, and like we need to go after them. And the amount of times that we would go, I wish that there was a few moments where we would go after a character that we were trying to convince to be an ally, and we didn't have to fight them.
Every single time it was like you would finish a fight, and then they would be like, "Okay, let's sit down."
Who is my enemy here?
Right.
My biggest problem was, and like this is, I wish I had known we were getting codes for this game like 2 months ago, because the game I beat, not even 2 months, like a month ago, because the game I beat days before playing this game
is
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake.
It's damning.
The first 3 hours into this, sorry.
No, I was
the first 3 hours into the game, I'm like, damn, this game wants to be Ghost of Tsushima so bad, and it's not. And then I was like, all right, Brady, you gotta review this game this game alone. And I'm like, and Ghost of Tsushima is fresh off my mind. And then after I got like a couple hours into the game and started doing all the side stuff and realized like all the awesome mechanics and stuff, I was like, all right, maybe this isn't trying to be Ghost as much. And it's just, I don't know. I started to actually really enjoy it when I stopped comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima.
I was about to say, a huge reason that we really want Brady on the review is coming fresh off of that. This game will always be compared to Ghost, just because it is the latest samurai game, Japan, open world. Like, what actually is this game compared to that? And you sitting down and I think also getting to the point that there did have those 8-5 moments. This is a great game at moments. It really, when the combat is singing, it feels better than anything else. I legitimately, there was multiple moments where I was like, this game feels like a rhythm-based action game. I was getting Hi-Fi Rush vibes because there was like a slower tempoed boss where their attack would just come in a little bit late, and I was literally like counting it out in my head, being like,
dude, the
breath,
little late
triangle, breath, triangle, compared to triangle. It was always like take the moment.
They all have little late attacks. It's always like ding, ding, ding. It's like, fuck. I would miss it every single time.
Yeah, but when you hit it,
and you learn.
You not only learn the satisfying moments of the parry bar like building and the stagger meter for whatever you want to call it. Like that moment where you finally get there, you just got dominated. It feels really good, and I was very curious to see how high you, as someone that just played Ghost, would give this score. I think 8 is not only a very fair score to what I gave this game, but also shows that it's not exactly like Ghost, but it's still great in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, like the fighting mechanics in this game, I think are better than Ghost. I think
interesting.
Yeah, well, it's just like, I mean, it's very similar to Ghost. I just think they do it a little bit better. And I think it's just like a lot of the studio.
Yeah. Team Ninja.
They don't fuck around.
For the combat.
They don't.
Like, I mean, like this is games in 8, like an 8 hard.
Yeah.
But like Ghost of Tsushima is like a 9-5. Like Ghost of Tsushima is,
Brady
and that's because of
loves
the
Ghost.
story. Like I fucking love Ghost of Tsushima.
I think the open world is super well done. They take a lot of stuff from Ghost.
Which I mean,
makes sense.
Comes out in 2020. This game is going to consistently be discussed as, obviously Team Ninja does a lot of games and everything, but like they have their own style, and their style sings through here majorly, but the comparisons are going to be there. I also would say, if you like Ghost, give this game a shot.
That's the thing, is like I think at the end of the day, if you want a something to hold you over for Ghost 2, this is going to be a great game.
I also,
if you're really looking for that specific thing, I think this is a great thing to hold you over until Ghost of Tsushima 2.
I also think that if you're just a major PlayStation exclusive fan, like you are either coming hot off a Rebirth, you've had your time with Helldivers, and you want something that is like a open world tight combat experience, this game really is going to be a great way to start your spring of gaming, leading into things like Stellar Blade and down the line, whatever we get next from PS Studios. Like it is a really solid package, totally worth the money off the rip, in my opinion. Like I really enjoyed my experience with this game. I had moments, like I think Connor said it really eloquently, I'm like, this is a 7.5. I might give this game a 7. And then there was moments where I'm playing the combat and I'm like, this combat is so damn good because it is not overly punishing, it is extremely rewarding, and it makes you like, those endorphin hits when you hit that perfect parry are as good as it gets in gaming. 100%.
I feel like we're hitting a lot of the stuff that I had written down. So we hit the story and characters, and throughout that we all are pretty much on the same page with the story. I think with it being very paint by the numbers, there's betrayals, but it never really kind of comes together for the most part.
I think that really, the large part of that is just because the characters, or you don't care enough about the characters that they're
introducing so many of them.
There's a mechanic in this game called the bond mechanic, where you go and as you talk to more characters or do side missions for them, you can increase your bond level. It doesn't really come with too many ramifications for what that character is then able to do and everything, but you just feel like, okay, I now understand my relationship better with this person. at the end of almost every mission that, like, okay, you get to the end of the mission, the moments that you would get them to then sit down and talk with you after the fact, consistently they would be introduced as like a character, and there would be a splash screen of the character, like being like, they're now involved in your life, and you're like, cool, I know this person. And this is where the encyclopedia comes in so handily. It is a mechanic that for a game like this is so damn important, because every single character, you're just like, I don't really know what you're about. Like, who are you again? What ranking do you have in this? Are you pro Shogun? Are you not? Like, what's exactly your role in this grand story? And that came through majorly multiple times. I really think that you throwing that out in the short form view was majorly important. But it was getting back real quick before you get into your point. The characters in this game are just so unimpressive that the story, I don't know if you could have like the greatest story ever without characters. That's the like foundation, and it really does not hit in a major way.
Hear a fix that I think would help this game a lot? Not having a character creator and having an actual voiced main character to like actually have a personality. They have a voice that they speak every once in a while, but like if you had a character to ground this in, like a Jin, I feel like you would fix a lot of the problems. Yeah. I'm never really, this is going to be a hot take at some point that I'm going to shoot on this. I don't think a character creator is generally the right way to go when you could trade it off for an actual in-depth written character that has personality for you to fall in love with and bounce off of these. Like, you don't have like character interactions with the characters you're interacting with. They're just speaking at you.
And then you're choosing a dialogue option that doesn't actually give you any personality. It results in the same bullshit of
you don't talk enough. That was one thing I did was frustrating when you were like giving those options. Like I like didn't feel involved into the game or like in love with my own character, because like you would pick options and then like that your character talked like not much at all.
I think it's like 10 lines total.
And it was like, I just don't feel immersed into this story.
I wanted to flirt. I wanted to bro out with some of these characters. I wanted to say fuck you to some of these characters. Like, I wanted to like be able to voice my opinion, but it wasn't available in a major way. And I think that's where some of the side characters I think are a lot of fun, and some of them I think are pretty interesting with their standing and their relationships to the overarching world. But when I would go and reach out to them and be like, or they would come at me with something that's like, how are we feeling? And then it's just a blank screen and there's a couple dialogue options that you're like, I want to say more, or I want to tell you I'm not feeling it, or whatever that is. Complete, like, there's no real, it feels like I'm hitting a tennis ball against the wall. It hits the wall and then just like scrapes down every single time. Their characters are like serving it up for me, and I'm just like wet blanket it. It's tough.
I switched sides so many times just because like I was looking for that relationship. I was like, I want to like somebody so bad. And I was like, by the way, I just want to make this clear. I don't think you're saying romantically even. You're just saying like, I just want to like this character. I just want like to care about these characters in some aspect, but I literally can't because I don't know who any of you are. The amount of times like I had a conversation, I mean, it's not like a ton. Like, you obviously have your main core characters, but the amount of times like somebody would pop up and I'd have a conversation, I'm like, man, as soon as it's over, I'm hitting pause and I'm looking up who the hell this person is. Like, I want but the encyclopedia does do a good job. If you want to get further with these characters, you can do that. If you want to play some side quests, I did a couple, especially after beating the game, where I was like, ooh, like I like this character a little bit more. But the side characters, like you said, I think it's a uphill battle to really enjoy some of these side characters when you yourself, the main character, the protagonist, are not able to like have a voice, and it's tough.
I know that games like they're like, oh, it's more immersive to like have the player character be able to create their character and step into the shoes of the character, but I almost think it pulls me out more than it does, because it's just like, I know I wish that I had a personality, because I have a personality, but even though it looks like me, it's not speaking.
Everyone just tells you how you're feeling.
But the personality of my character kept on switching, because I went from looking like a samurai to a fine gentleman many different times.
Dude, the costumes are ridiculous.
The costumes are so much fun.
One thing I do want to hit on that I really hate, I hate how much shit you pick up.
You
in
get
this game.
so much stuff,
dude. If I pick up one more fucking sword or one more fucking outfit, I'm gonna be like, that's so
Team
annoying.
Ninja games. They always do this.
It was like enough's enough. I don't need 30 of the same thing. But like you would kill somebody and it's like, do you want to loot them? And it's like,
it's so easy.
I
to
need
bing,
stuff.
Bing,
yeah,
bing,
it's
bing,
like I'm gonna just keep doing it.
Were you pressing buttons to pick stuff up?
Oh, did you do the auto? Pickup?
I just had auto pick up on, baby.
No,
if you're listening to this, if you are listening to this, turn on auto pickup.
No,
it is. It is. So, I think it is so. I immediately was like, do I want auto pickup on? And I went up to the first item that you can do early on, and I picked it up, and I was like, yes, I want auto pickup on. This is bull crap.
I don't want. Up at
that's
really?
what
I pick stuff up.
I mean, it was certain people and I want to know if how much the colors because it gives you
you want.
no idea.
I can tell you. I can help you with that one. The colors when you turn in to sell your stuff. Give more value
because I just was going off of the number. Like, okay, the number go up, stack go up, good.
So it is the stats, but then if you had let's just say a regular sword that was 200, but it was gold and 200 and it was like blue. Yeah. The 200 gold when you turn it in would give you like 10 things. 200 blue would give you like one thing.
I never felt the need to turn anything in though because I always had enough currency.
I did not have enough. Silver to turn into bullets often, and I had to consistently.
I just gotta break stuff.
That's what I was doing. I was consistently selling those I was gonna go, and I was like, okay, my low level stuff. Where's the gold? Gonna sell you. Get 10 bullets, and it was worth it every time.
Thank God they let you pick like multiple things at once to break down too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because at first I was like going one by one, and I'm like, oh, just square, sell half my inventory.
I did not know that you were able to do that in this game. I every single time went click.
Wait, even up until now?
Yeah, until you just said that.
He said that. I feel like you texted that to us. Like,
dude, do you think I read all the texts that our phones? Like, I multiple times during review put my phone in the other room just because our phone we would be talking so much.
Your word of advice was turn on the auto pickup. My word of advice is turn on the Japanese voice track and the subtitles. I started the game on English dub and. The voice acting is not great. The voice performances aren't fantastic. And I played Ghost of Tsushima with the Japanese voice track on, and I think it's so much more immersive. Everybody here is in Japan. Please turn on the Japanese voice track. I think it makes a lot more sense for immersion purposes. So that's the advice that I would give.
Also,
this nerd likes to read.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It make it kind of difficult to really follow along because I'm reading everything and it's just going fast and
I already couldn't remember
terms. Yeah.
I did read most of all the subtitles.
The subtitles were immensely helpful. The encyclopedia immensely helpful while playing this game. I do think that this game, when discussing the review process too, it sort of comes back to reviewing games like Spider-Man, and where Connor and I disagree fundamentally on the level of the greatness of that game. What this game does well with the polish in the world is, I think, really impressive. Sure, there's moments of pop in, but the world in general looks really gorgeous. Whether it was a sunny day and you're by the docks and you look out and you see the sun rising, you're like, that's gorgeous. And then, or it is downpouring rain, wind splashing in your face. I loved that shit. I was all about that. And there's certain moments like that are done really well. There is a photo mode in this game that allows you to take gorgeous moments of this is fun. Really
that's
pretty.
Collectible.
Yeah, that's another side mission in there that is really makes you appreciate how pretty certain sceneries are in this world. There was multiple moments where I would get up on a giant ass hill, look around and be like, I'm really impressed. And then also right after I look around, you click X a couple times, you jump off. You got to pull the glider out.
The glider is so awesome.
You're flying around, you're looking around the world. It looks really pretty. Then there's a moment to pop in, you lose immersion a little bit. But there is really this game. The reason that I'm with that hard, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. It is a great video game. I think it is great. I don't think that it is really good. I think it is definitively great. Is the combat in the world, or they things that. Or I know people that are longtime fans of our stuff are going to be like, Nick is talking about world and combat and not just characters, music, and story. This is odd, and I think it does those things really, really well.
Last thing, we kind of mentioned the visuals, and you were mentioning it in there. I think this game is gorgeous in a lot of ways.
See, I expected it to be prettier. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like
Team
Ninja.
Ninja.
It's not. This isn't a first party title.
I also think that in general with the gorgeousness of games right now, you're sort of in like two camps. It's either like this is the best shit I've seen in a long time. 2020, The Last of Us Part 2 came out, and it might be the best. 2018, Red Dead Redemption with an open world looks gorgeous, and the things that have to be compared to that now,
right?
It's like, okay, if you're not in that upper echelon, but it's still really damn good.
It's A tier. It's
definitely
A
tier. It looks really good.
I would prefer more games to look on this level and focus on combat and design rather than just visual fidelity. If we could get this to be the bar for most games, I would be just fine.
Yeah, it looks great. I think it looks really, really good. A tier is a great way to put it too.
Did you play on performance mode or graphics mode?
What do you think I did?
Graphics mode?
I was all about those graphics mode, dude.
I also did.
You guys didn't play on performance mode?
I threw it on performance mode for a couple boss fights just to see how fast it was. Connor knows this. I like graphics mode more.
That's wild. Apparently you're in the majority. I know us nerds who are like really into this are for the most part saying like, why would you ever not play on performance mode? But 70% of people play on graphics mode for most games, which is insane information to me.
Can you explain to me like the big differences?
The frame rate.
Yeah. So it is you give up a little bit of graphics and you get 60 frames instead. Which by the way, I did.
Running at 60 frames. I think it's running a little bit.
I was about to say I did throw it on performance mode, and I was like, I can't tell too much of a difference right now, so I'm gonna take the graphics.
But you could tell like in like Rebirth.
Oh yeah, well that game is egregious when it comes to the difference, and I
think this is running at less than 60, but I thought it was pretty solid for the most part.
Oh, I think it ran.
I didn't really have
well.
any major dips. I heard some people in the preview cycle say that there was dips. And
I was about to say we got it a little bit past the preview, and so there was an update at the start of this and everything that did I think polish it up a little bit. Did you guys have any crashes, major bugs, anything like that?
You said you had one.
I had one cutscene where the character I was speaking to was just a floating sword.
Okay.
And
no, that was one of the characters.
Yeah. So like, but it was, and then it rectified itself like 5 seconds later. It really wasn't that big of a deal.
Cool. I did have some like pop-ins in the background. Yeah. That was like the worst thing. Really.
Yeah.
You were talking about traversal earlier, and I don't necessarily consider this a bug, but I think that like trying to get on roofs of stuff that I was like, I should be able to get on top of this.
There's a couple of those.
I constantly was not able to vault on top of stuff, or like I was trying to get on like a little deck area, and like I would be jumping on, and if it's like, why is it not like having me vault over this? It doesn't make any sense.
I do.
And eventually it would work, but it was like there was no real consistency to it, so I didn't like that.
Yeah, sometimes you could jump over a certain height, and then you go to something the same height, and you're like, why can't I get
it? Yeah, totally. Before we close out this review, I have one question for you gentlemen, just to finish this out. Actually, 2 questions. First one's a little bit less intense. Did you guys ever go from gliding on your horse into a backflip? Because I did that shit every single time I could. You were going gliding, and then you call your horse in, you backflip off the glider onto the horse, and then start galloping.
I know what I'm doing when I get home.
So badass every single time. Like it was. I'm like, this game's an 8 out of 10.
Why didn't you tell me that?
Secondly, how many cats did you guys collect?
Right now, I'm definitely gonna get more. I'm sitting at like 15 or 16.
Yeah, I'm higher than that, I think, but I don't know the specific number. But it was one of those situations where, like you said, we were up against a time crunch, like where I was getting a lot of them at first, and then I was like, okay, I gotta get less and less. But if I was going to a location and one of them popped up on my map, I'm going to get it.
I think I'm around 35, 36 cats. Yeah.
How many are there total?
I have no idea, but
I if they just keep popping up.
There's every single section, which also they do a really great job of this of saying the amount you cleared in the section for total stuff. So there would be 2 cats, 1 shrine, 3 bases, whatever it is. And every single time in that first section, I was doing 80 to 100% of that first section for everything. I was doing everything, and while doing everything, I was having a great time. And I think that also is a large testament how good this game is. You guys want to draft some Smash Bros. Characters?
Are we letting Brady go first again? I'm fine with that.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm in the middle. We can kind of just do.
Or do you want to?
You intro it and then you throw it to Brady.
Wait, you want to? You can go first if you want.
That's what you're saying. Do you want to go first?
Okay,
I'll give you the first pick, Connor.
I feel like we went with you first last time. And
but I was sitting there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, you were in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you were in the middle for the Q&A.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I just love getting on camera with both you gentlemen. It's a great time.
Did you ask us 2 questions? I think you only asked us 1 question. You said I have 2 questions.
I asked you the backflip and then how many cats.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yep. Okay, you were like, one of these is super important, and I was like,
the first question I was thinking of was the backflip, by the way. And then I was like, I also want to ask about
That's
cats.
big news. Yeah.
That dude, it was every single time I could, but you had to like do it really well because sometimes the horse wouldn't come up perfectly, or sometimes it would go under you, but you're still on the glider. But if you're at that right level, the horse comes under you, like you call it, and you just go straight on. Oh, it's so rad.
Before I do move on, another thing is that auto run. Did you use the auto run
No.
feature a lot? Really? I would try to use it a decent amount. Like if I had just finished mission and we were texting about something, I'm like, all right, I'm going to this location. Let me throw an auto run on. The auto run is goofy, dude. You just run into shit and people, and you're like, what's going on? Sometimes it just starts running into a wall, and then it's like, I can't do this.
If a game has an auto run feature, like a open world game, it's like that's like that. It's a testament to like how you literally can just go on autopilot when you're like pressing forward. Skyrim has this problem. That's really.
I do think that this game also does have some Ubisoft isms, like you said, that do allow for some chill. I'm just gonna throw some music onto my ear, clear out a few bases, and let that combat sing. I did have a lot of fun where there was a night where it is 2 a.m. I was like, I don't want to do any more story stuff, but I want to just do some combat stuff. We're seeing Group Love tonight. I threw on a Group Love album, 45 minutes of just combat world and enjoying. Like I was immersed as shit. Well, like also just like enjoying some music. It is a really good game for that. Unless you're having difficulties with the combat. At that point, I was well over leveled, and so it was fine.
Did you fast travel at all?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Like the amount of times it would be like that is 160 meters away, or 1,600 meters away. I would be like, I already have I want to call them fire there, or campfire. I know that
banners.
But they're banners. Yes.
I wish you could edit your banner. Like I wanted to be able to edit my banner and just make it something.
You wanted to make it a Call of Duty 2011 banner that are all nasty. Brady, I know what your mind's thinking about. Let's draft some fucking Smash characters.
We want to move our cups off the table real fast, and we can get into it. Close this bad boy out.
This was a good one, dude. Shout out to PlayStation again. So much fun.
Giving us those codes.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Exciting. All right. Nikki Diggles. Nikki Ops.
Nikki Two Shoes.
You're introing.
I know him.
Okay.
I'm just saying hi.
All right.
What's up, Brady? You having a good time?
I'm having a fine time.
All right.
But like not in a bad way, but like a fine.
You're like doing
a fine dining or like something like
shit.
that. Like
All right.
Fine time.
Why do you always go into the Ron Weasley? Like it's always Snape. It should never be Snape, Connor, and it's always actually no, it's most of the time. Okay.
We need to buy like a
wand.
A wand, yeah. I don't know why.
Just consistently.
Yeah. You can buy
Blades of Chaosville. Yeah.
That's basically a wand.
Yeah. All right, ready?
Yep.
Today we are drafting Super Smash Bros. Characters, and it's a 3-person draft. Brady is joining us once again on the podcast. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But Brady, you don't have the first pick. I don't have the first pick. Connor has the first pick. Connor, what are you drafting?
That would be me. With my first overall pick, I'm gonna go with my main. I'm playing this one with my heart today. We're going with Ike with my first pick. He's beefy. He's powerful. He's got a lot of cheese strats that I enjoy using. I'm not great at Smash, so that's how I get by Ike with the first overall pick.
Ike is a wild pick. I respect you going straight for your main, though. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do, but I still feel like my main is like got a little more substance to it than Ike. What?
I know who you're going.
Oh, you know, you guys were making eye contact. I didn't realize I was that predictable.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get right into it. With my first pick of the Smash Characters draft, I'm going to go with my main. You both already know. Say it with me. Samus.
All right. With my first pick, I'm going to go with Pikachu, one of my mains, but also just adorable, iconic when you think about Super Smash Bros. He's one of those first characters that down B legendary. Speaking of legendary down Bs, I'm going to pair it with the most casual player of all time. If Smash Bros, you love being competitive with some friends, but it's all about getting your friends together and having fun. And we all had that moment where it's just using Kirby's down B all day long. I'm going to pick Kirby. I love the start of my draft. Pika, Kirby. I don't think I'm going to be able to get my next one up. On the way back, I think Connor's going to take them, but I can live with this. Kirby, Pikachu.
I was hoping for Kirby to get back to me.
Yeah, I definitely wanted Kirby too. I mean, you've got 2 classics on your team.
This is, by the way, I plan on running away with this. This is not going to be close. Connor said I'll play with my heart. Brady picked Samus. I'm like, oh, this is domination station, baby. Let's rock.
Well, you're going to run away. I might try to chase you a little bit, but like you said, I'm playing with my heart. I'm going to keep playing with my heart. I'm going to go with my second main, which holds a little more substance than Samus because people freaking love him. We're going to go Captain Falcon.
Oh,
baby.
hell yeah. Falco Punch, dude. You can't beat it.
That was my second overall.
Oh, shit.
You stole it from
Hey,
us.
Connor, we're over here. We're kicking ass. How's it going? What's happening? Yeah, you and I. Oh, man. What's up,
What's Connor going to pick? Man picked Ike first.
Oh, man. That was such a great pick, Connor.
Here's your sword.
You want a sword, dude?
You can't even swallow people.
Oh, my God. I can swallow people and electrocute them.
Can I pick?
He's got a Falco Punch and a gun, dude.
He's got the blicky.
Up B. More like...
Up D's. We got him, John.
All right, who the heck are you going to pick?
With my... Just got absolutely roasted, dude. Is this a 2v1 draft right now?
I mean, it is Smash Bros. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
With my second pick, I'm going to go with the most annoying character to play against. If you play as Ness, you're a freaking nerd, okay? Because you're always way too good at this game, and I hate playing against Ness mains, so Ness with my second pick. With my third pick, I'm going to go with another meta character from Super Smash Bros. Melee, Fox, Final Destination. You go with Fox. That's where boys become men, where real battles take place. Fox only, no items. Final Destination, Fox with my third pick.
I respect it. And you said Melee, and my heart sank a little bit because that's kind of the direction I was going. And I'm still going to go that direction because you didn't pick what I was going to pick. I'm going to go with a classic who I always mained on Melee, my favorite Smash Brothers, Mewtwo.
Interesting.
I'm gonna, which is kind of a curveball out of left field.
Totally out of left
field. But I
field.
love Mewtwo, and I'm
You're feeling good?
I'm going with my heart today. So I'm sticking with it.
Y'all can eat a bag of butts because I did get who I wanted. I thought Connor was going to pick them. I am so happy to get this character on my squad because every single person after me is going to be like, I might choose this version of this character. I'm choosing Link, baby. Classic, iconic, great moveset. Sure, young Link, Toon Link down the line, you might have your favorite, but OG Link, every single iteration of them, that's awesome, super fun to play with. When you do randoms and then you get Link, you're happy about it.
Man picked Link when he could have had Toon Link. What a joker, dude. What an absolute joker over here.
Could have young Link, dude.
Yeah.
You got another pick?
Yeah, I do. I'm between a couple as I normally am.
Go with your boys. Just pick
I'm gonna
Sephiroth and Cloud. Just do what you're going to do.
Connor brought something up that I am pivoting so hard. With this next pick, am going to not just choose this character because they're fun to play as in this game. I'm going to choose this character for the moment. And there's no more iconic moment in Smash reveals than the final one. Hearing Simple and Clean come on, Sora flying out of the keyhole and presenting himself as the last character in Smash Ultimate. I'm going to choose Sora, take him away from Connor. I know that he might want him on the roster, but the moment was pure electricity. Myself and Shane reacted to that moment, and I was euphoric for the rest of the day. Perfect announcement. That's how you do a trailer. And also, Sora's great in Smash. I'll take him.
Yeah, Sora's a little OP if you know.
Another one of my mains. Because first of all, I have to main Sora just because I love Kingdom Hearts so much, but also, dude, he's really powerful.
Who do I play of Sephiroth and Cloud? Do you know this?
What?
Well, Sephiroth and Cloud, which one do I play?
Sephiroth.
Yeah, all day, dude. The 1 week Angel, you kidding me? Do you think that I'm going to pick him last? Probably not.
Yeah, he's going to.
All right. Well, let's see here. With my third pick, when you were going into that whole speech, fourth pick.
I think just restart. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, let's see here. With my fourth pick,
I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, it's fourth.
Yeah, fourth pick. When you gave that whole Link speech, I really thought you were going to pick this character because I'm also going to pick, not with my heart anymore. I'm just going to go with the heart, but I'm going to go with Connor's heart. Give me that heart. I'm going to go with Snake. Snake. Classic, dude. Who doesn't like eating grenades, dude?
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Snake.
Wait, Brady, You're on the podcast. You want to give us a Metal Gear?
Yeah, hit me with a Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I can live
Sign
with
me.
it. David Hayter's out of a job. Okay, fuck. Jesus. Okay.
I like how we're like, this is going to be a short 40-minute podcast. We've been going for an hour.
Oh, God.
I just realized that I wrote Marth down, but that it autocorrected to Marty.
Take Marty, dude. Take Marty.
I love Marth. Marth was going to be
Rick and Marty.
Before Connor got me on with Sephiroth and Cloud, I was going to pick Marth.
I'll take Marty. Do you mean Steve? I think his name's Steve.
With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with 3 characters in one. Pokemon Trainer, please. A character that was awesome in Brawl, they took out in Smash 4 and just gave us Charizard and then brought back in Ultimate. He's awesome. Gotta love Pokemon Trainer.
Who's the best of the 3 that you get to play as?
I think, are we talking like on my like just opinion on the
just
Pokemon?
enjoyment. Just your enjoyment.
Squirtle, I like playing as the most.
Okay.
You seem like a Bulbasaur.
I'm a big Ivysaur guy. Yeah. I love that. I love that
like
up-seed move. That up-B
What's that
seed.
supposed to mean?
Just great. All right. Who's next? Close it out.
You got one more.
I got one more and then I'm
Yep.
done? Okay. Shoot.
Do you know what you need to do?
Yep, I know what I need to do.
If I'm not right, I'm going to be upset. Go
With
ahead.
my final pick, I'm going to go with my second main, my secondary main. I'm going to go with Pac-Man. An iconic character, an iconic mascot, some ways say. The number 1 mascot of all time. Pac-Man with the final pick. What? What's so funny about Pac-Man?
This man just picked up the draft and he just threw it. We got him so bad today.
This is my
dude.
boy.
This
is my son.
We could take the 5 worst of our picks and beat Connor's team.
I'm going to try the hardest I can to throw.
Here you go, Nick. Here's your guy.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of throwing, my 5th and final pick of the draft. This is going to make or break my team. It's really going to split the crowd. I'm going to go with Mr. Game & Watch, dude.
No way.
My
I'm
God.
doing it. If you love him, you love him. And if you don't,
you don't.
You don't. So I'm going for the Mr. Game & Watch crowd. Come on, join my team. Make the right decision. Be pro Shogunette.
With my final pick, I could choose Marth. You're right. He's out there. I'm a big Lucina fan. I love the Fire Emblem characters. I play a lot of them. But if this character is ever on the board, I have to take them.
Oh.
I'm going to choose the One-Winged Angel, the greatest Smash reveal of all time. The dude killed Mario. Man, the dude killed Mario in the Smash reveal. It was awesome.
I don't even picked Mario.
I'm choosing Sephiroth. He is the greatest villain in all of gaming. The reveal was epic. The crossover between PlayStation and Square and like what that game is to get that on Nintendo and to have a bunch of cartoon characters, and then you got Sephiroth, the One-Winged Angel. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. I love it. My team started out really good, and then we might have thrown with the last couple picks, but I got to get my Square guys in there. You guys just had
We're
Mega Man
playing
and Pac-Man Kiss.
You wanted it on this?
He gave Mega Man that waggle waggle waggle.
Y'all are wild, dude. You guys are nuts. Connor, you wanna close this out?
Yeah, that was your review for Rise of the Ronin, followed by your draft of Super Smash Bros. Characters, and that was the Casual Gaming Conversation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week and hanging out with us and spending this time. Peace out.